my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, see. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Howdy, everybody. It is Jesse Blaze Snyder, the Coolest Geek Alive. How you doing out there? Care Bear Stare. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm doing really good, man. Really good. I've been a pot smoker for a long time, and I have very severe ADHD. And for me, it was really just the cure-all that helped me to make a lot of progress in my life and get a lot of work done. Unlike most people who smoke weed and like chill out on the couch, I would smoke weed and do a lot of work, write a lot of papers, get things done. But for the past bunch of years, actually, it's been really diminishing returns and not exactly helping me the way that it did. And it was just kind of like a pattern I was in. Even though it helped me in some ways, it helped me get a lot of work done, really. I was using it for pain, and I was using it for a couple different things, and I didn't need it anymore. So I quit, and I've just been, I quit totally inspired by Jake the Snake Roberts and the life and times of, the resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. And that's actually what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. I was talking about maybe doing Misfits, but I'm still still getting through that series, and I want to talk about Misfits even more because it's such a great one, and we'll talk about Misfits next time. But this is really kind of a cool story, this thing, and that's why I'm bringing up the marijuana thing for me, because the resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts is an incredible documentary produced by a friend of my family's, Diamond Dallas Page, who's a wrestler. And Diamond, shout out to you, Diamond. Diamond is a wonderful, wonderful guy. He created something called DDP Yoga that he created because so many of his buddies and himself were so badly injured, and yoga was the magic that helped them get themselves back to life, get them back to doing at least some of the things that they were doing before. And the amount of success stories that DDP has under his belt at this point is seriously impressive. But a lot of it started with the resurrection of Jake the Snake. And I am not the biggest wrestling fan on planet Earth, even though I'm a huge fan of the behind-the-scenes goings-on in wrestling, because I have lots of friends who are huge wrestling fans. So the one thing that has always interested me, besides the Royal Rumble and my time in the 80s as a little kid who was a fan of Hulk Hogan and Macho Man teaming up, and Jake the Snake and other people from that era who were really cool and spoke to me. Jake is one of those guys who did. I love the goings-on in the background. Essentially, wrestlers are athletic actors, athletic performers, and the combination of skills that you have to be a really good wrestler, good on the mic, good at performing, to really break through. It's really some special people, some really unique people who are able to do this. And learning about them for real is very, very interesting to me. We talked about Silver Claw a while back, The Iron Claw a while back, which is a great movie. And even though it's not exactly accurate to the Von Erich family situation, they even lost an additional brother that's not included in that movie. But it's excellent. The real drama behind being a professional wrestler, and more than that, being a success at it, is crazy. And it takes a toll on these guys' minds and bodies. And this documentary just has all of that and more, all the things that I love and more, because it is a redemption story. It's, the redemption of Jake the Snake. And Jake is clearly a good guy who deserved some support that he never really had before. And DDP went out of his way to bring him into this house that he put together for people who needed some place to go, some place to detox and heal their bodies. And not only does he get Jake into this house, but he eventually gets Scott Hall into this house. And despite the fact that we lost Scott Hall a few years ago, Scott Hall's quality of life improved dramatically thanks to DDP's intervention. And you get to see a lot of that in this documentary. But it had a major effect on me this time around watching it. I had seen it many years ago, and, it had an effect on me at the time. I'm not sure when I ended up reaching out to DDP. I'm pretty sure that I had seen the documentary, because, like I said, the behind the scenes of this world interests me. And I think I was on the phone with my father talking about the documentary. And my dad said, I know Diamond. He's a fan of mine. He's a nice guy. And he, I think, reached out to Diamond and, kind of connected some dots with me. DDP sent me a DDP yoga DVD packet. I was doing some of the yoga at the time. I kind of struggled to stay on the path with the yoga at the time. There was a lot of reasons for that. I was going through really severe chronic body pain, and taking care of myself, I wasn't exactly ready to take care of myself. Well, I love the documentary, and I love Diamond Dallas Page. He got on the phone with me at the time, and he's a wonderful man, and the proof is in the pudding in how he carries himself and conducts his life. And I sent him a message recently after seeing this movie, just telling him how wonderful I think he is, and how great it is that this documentary will exist for forever to affect generations to come, as it affected me years after I'd already seen it. And basically, the little story of me watching it again recently was that I had seen it advertised to me. It said that it was on Tubi for free. There's actually a whole bunch of things on Tubi for free. Last week, we talked about The Dark Side of the Ring. Dark Side of the Ring is awesome. Check that out. It's a great series. It's the first two seasons of which, or most of the first two seasons, are free on Tubi right now. There's a ton of cool wrestling documentaries and whatnot on Tubi right now. There's another one called 350 Days that I really enjoyed. Gave me a lot of background. Lots of different wrestlers talking about their life and different aspects of how crazy the world and the life of a wrestler and wrestling is. And this resurrection of Jake the Snake gives you a bird's eye view into what the aftermath tends to be. And I was watching it with my buddy Digger over here, and I was kind of telling him that a little bit of the inspiration for the wrestler is Jake the Snake, and some of the difficulty that he's had. Famously, there was a wrestling match that he had gotten into where he showed up really wasted, and he wasn't able to really do anything, and it was a big embarrassment for him. But the thing that I took to heart this time around was that Jake was really insecure. He didn't believe in himself. There was a moment in the documentary where I think Diamond says to him, like, "You're better than this, Jake." And he goes, "No, I'm not. That's the problem. Everybody thinks I'm better than this. Everybody thinks I should be able to overcome this, but I'm not. I'm not that person. And that's the cause of all my problems." And there was an energy that Jake had in him with going back to the alcohol, in particular. And it was this energy that I have embodied myself, because through most of my life, I was very insecure, and I really cared what everybody thought, just like Jake did. And it was clear to me that alcohol became the spirit that he would visit with that would help give him confidence, that would help make him feel better about everything, that helped him to cope with any of the trauma that he might have been feeling at any given moment, and especially the pain. Well, I used marijuana for a lot of those reasons. It does help me with my task paralysis and a lot of the side effects of being really, high level ADHD kind of person. And I had woken up with chronic body pain at 30, and only recently did that change, the chronic nature of my body pain. I still have some injuries that I'm getting over, but my chronic pain is over. I'm done being chronically in pain. And that was half the reason why I was feeling like, I really didn't need marijuana anymore. I didn't want to smoke anymore. It wasn't necessary in a lot of ways. There were some minor reasons why I still used it, but really the main reason why I was still using it was because it had become my friend that I checked in with, regularly. I would go check in with the marijuana, and then after I kind of picked myself up from the marijuana experience, I'd go out into the world and get work done, do all the things that I needed to do. And it would just help me to do those things more confidently. And seeing Jake feeling the need to go check in with his friend, alcohol, who had been helping to give him the confidence that he needed to do the things he needed to do. I felt that so hard, man. I felt it. Felt it in my bones. And Jake's addiction to various drugs and mostly alcohol, so much worse than my addiction. I've quit marijuana before at times. It just, usually I would pick sort of a moment where I had extra support or things going on in my life that would make it easier for me to be without this crutch that I was using to get myself to the place that I'd prefer to be. And, it was a crutch that I allowed because it was bringing me to a place of empowerment. So I was like, it's one thing if you're using a crutch just to get by for this one thing or whatever, but it's another thing when the crutch is actually bringing you to a place of empowerment where you can get the things done on your own with the assistance, and it seems a little bit like, oh, you're on your own. Yeah, but like, the marijuana helped me get my mind to where I needed to be so that I felt right about everything that I wanted to do and getting things done and whatever else. So, it was relatively easy to rationalize, keeping it in my life because it was empowering me on some level. But seeing Jake's relationship with it, seeing Jake dealing with this long-term, very major disempowerment and all the difficulties he was having to deal with, and I wasn't dealing with anything like he was dealing with. It was not this all-encompassing bad thing for me. It was largely positive, but there were things about it that were negative, and there were things about it that I didn't prefer, and there were a lot of reasons why I didn't want to do it anymore, and I wanted to find a new way to. I don't know, I already feel good about myself and all those things. I've gotten over those things a long time ago. Like I said, there was sort of some remaining little pieces of why I did it. But the thing of me having gotten used to it being this friend, this sort of supportive element in my life that I would check in with and I would come away empowered. Seeing it in Jake and seeing him put himself on the line, seeing him filmed bettering himself and seeing him embarrassing himself and all these ways in which he put himself out there because he needed help and he needed to do something. And it just changed my life and spoke to me. And I'm going to cry talking about it. It was beautiful. It was amazing. And I literally just was watching the thing. I didn't even finish the documentary. And I went, I'm done. And cold turkey, I just quit. I would quit when I didn't have any marijuana anymore because, don't want any temptation or anything. I still got a bunch of marijuana. I haven't smoked it. I don't want to smoke it. I don't have any interest. It was that clean of an end for me. I just went, nah. I'm done. And it's just a testament to Jake putting himself out there like that. And I want to encourage him and, I should say I wanted to encourage him. And I did by reaching out to Diamond Dallas Page after I watched this documentary all these years later for the second time. I loved it the first time and, saw the advertisements on Tubi and I went, I want to watch that, forgetting that I had watched it. I was literally almost done with the movie by the time I started going, or not quite done, but like 3/4 of the way done. When I started going, wait a second, I've fucking seen this before. Like, I can't believe I forgot that I'd seen this. And like, why was my intuition so hot on me watching this? And within a few moments, it started to dawn on me. I'm like, because fucking Jake is a much more worse off version of you with marijuana. And I just went, oh man, if he can do it, so can I. If he can do it, it'll be easy for me. And it was so nice to see somebody who needed help. Like, I've needed help with that here or there. Like I said, I've quit when I felt like I had some help, or I felt like I was supported in one way or another. Those are other times when I've like quit, but I've gone back to it, like I said, for task paralysis and some of my ADHD things, or pain. I found my way back. And I am an advocate for marijuana to this day. I would like to be in a place in the future where I could occasionally smoke marijuana and it'd be no big deal. But the pattern of smoking daily, I don't want to be in that pattern anymore. It just hasn't been serving me for a long time. So, this isn't me demonizing the thing or whatever. Most of the people that I know who smoke marijuana, they tend to go on and off, or off for really long times and whatever else. But I believe in all things, we want to get to a place of balance where, nothing has any power over us. And right now, on some level, it had some power over me. And this movie helped me change that. Overnight. And, I've been withdrawing for a couple weeks now, or whatever it is, since I watched the movie. And that can be difficult. And I'm not in a position where I have a lot of the support that I would generally like to have. Like, I'm away from my girlfriend right now. So, I don't have a whole bunch of bits of support that I would like to have in place when going through something like this. But literally just seeing Jake do it when it was so much fucking harder for him gave me power and permission to do it. Made me feel like I wasn't so alone. And that's why I wanted to recommend the documentary to you all today, because I feel like there's got to be a lot of you out there who would get the same medicine from that I did, or get something similar. Ultimately, this is a advertisement, but it's an advertisement for DDP yoga in a lot of ways. But it's well-earned, well-deserved advertisement for DDP yoga. And it's all quite all right, man. Quite all right, DDP. You fucking deserve it, brother. I just really I want so much success for him and his endeavor to help athletes who have hurt themselves so bad that, they can barely walk. When Scott Hall shows up in the documentary, he comes in a wheelchair through the airport because he can't make it through the airport. You see Jake the Snake doing simple yoga moves that are just impossible for him, so painful for him. If this man can do it, so can you. If these guys can damage their bodies beyond what most people damage their bodies, I mean, it's shit. If you really know about so many of these wrestlers and so many of the injuries that they've accumulated, it's just crazy. It's just crazy what DDP helped them come back from, and what he helps all of these people come back from with yoga. And I really believe in yoga. I was already on board with yoga before DDP's thing, but it just so happened that a lot of the yoga that I would go to do, that would just be way too intense. I felt like these yoga instructors were trying to impress us all with all of their fucking yoga moves, and I just was hurting myself. I was injured, and I couldn't do a lot of this stuff. I was injured in so many different ways, from having gotten hit by a car when I was a kid, and then playing contact sports, really full-on contact sports my whole life. I was a national champion semi-pro football player. I played until I was about 28, and then a seeming injury, which was really an old injury acting up from this getting hit by the car, stopped me from playing because I didn't want to hurt myself any worse. And within 2 years, I was in chronic pain every single day of my life. Every single day. And somewhere a few years into this, I was trying DDP yoga. And I wasn't, as I said, wasn't ready to take care of myself at that time. I've been in a loop with reaching out to other people, trying to get doctors, try to please help me. I was so overwhelmed by the pain that I wasn't ready to face it on my own. this past year, as I've talked about a little bit here or there on the show, I've been in the gym. It's probably a little bit over a year now. Put on like 10 pounds. I'd gotten very skinny. I think I was like 145 or something like that, which is very skinny for me. And now I'm almost 160. And made a muscle. I'm ripped, and like I said, my chronic pain has gone away. My shoulders are much better, my lower back's much better. And honestly, the thing that drove me into the gym was I spent a night in bed with my sciatic nerve firing every few seconds. I could only move like a half an inch to the right, half an inch to the left, any more than that, and it would just go. And I was literally a whole night, and I was in New York visiting my children, and I was away from my girlfriend and not in a house with my kids, and I didn't have any help, and I was just stuck in bed, helpless and hurt. And I said, this is never going to happen to me again. I'm never going to experience this again. I don't care what I have to do. I am not going to be in this kind of pain anymore. And I did end up having another experience like that, only because I had to leave the gym for a couple of weeks because I ended up having some emergency dental stuff that went on. And, again, I was in a pattern of not taking care of myself. I was trying to keep all the money to eventually go to my kids, all the money to go to my businesses so that I could get myself out of the financial quagmire that I had basically been put in from my divorce. And I was motivated beyond motivated. I mean, you spend a night in sciatic nerve pain, and it's pretty motivating. Please don't wait until that happens to you. From the bottom of my heart, I would hate to hear from any of my listeners that they dealt with any of the things that I dealt with, or dealt with any of the things that Jake is dealing with. You spend 12 years in chronic pain, and you don't want to wish that on your worst enemy. There's not a single person on planet Earth that I would like to see go through what I went through. And if you find yourself heading in this direction, and if you are feeling like you're getting the message, I'm not taking care of myself and I really need to, please do it. Take care of yourself. Put on your face mask first. What good are you to your children if you faint before you have an opportunity to put on their face masks? You got to take care of yourself. I got on this path because of pain, and it woke me up to actually doing the hard work. And the hard work was me taking care of myself, not doctors. Me nourishing my body with the right food, me giving myself opportunity to exercise and do the things that make my heart sing. Long time ago, I got out of practice, out of guilt, and for the financial situation that I had been in, I stopped reading comics, I stopped watching movies, I stopped watching TV. I mean, these are all the things I did my whole life. These were all my hobbies. These are everything that I love. The reason why I can sit here and talk to you guys about all these things is because all I've done. What's the line from The Princess Bride? All you've done is spend your life studying swordplay, only to lose now. I spent my whole life studying entertainment and myth so that I could be the best at it. And I got to a point where I didn't have that in my life at all because I viewed it as a reason to make myself feel guilty, a reason to make myself feel bad. And now I'm getting these things together. I'm soaked right now because me and Digger went to the library earlier this morning to get a whole bunch of graphic novels for free, which is a great way to read comics. Go down to the library, checks out some graphic novels, and bring them back later. It's great. You don't have to freaking carry them around when you move. You don't have a bunch of heavy things, heavy long boxes or anything. It's excellent being able to check comics out of the library. Really enjoy doing that these days. And watching movies. I've been watching a lot more stuff. I've watched tons of these wrestling documentaries because I enjoy the hell out of that. And I've been watching Misfits, and my buddy Digger, has a bunch of shows that are some of his favorite that he really loves. And, he loves me, so he keeps kind of going, ooh, have you ever seen this? I'd love to show that with you. I'd love to watch that with you. I'm like him, I like to watch stuff with people I love, It's always just that much more exciting, It's like, oh, my new girlfriend, I really love her. I want to show her some Star Trek, or I want to show her some of my favorite episodes of this. Sharing your favorite things with the people that you love is just such a wonderful thing. So it's been great, and it's been easier with when I come to New York now, he and I, we have such similar interests. So it's been a lot easier for me to take back on some of my hobbies and things that I like, because he likes these same things, and we get to, talk about it and buzz about it and share our loves and hates and all these things. But actively nourishing your soul with the things you love, the hobbies that you have, finding things that you love, that's an important part of it. You got to take care of your body, and you got to take care of your mind for your kids, for the people who love you. Because if you don't, what good will you be to them? And I say this as somebody who struggled so fucking hard to accept this, to get to this place where I knew that it was true, and I could really help myself out of the hole that I had put myself into from not taking care of myself. And I say that right now as somebody with a little bit of fucking dental issues that I should probably be taking care of, but I'm not exactly doing, because it's like I'm just kind of waiting for the right moment to do it. It's really like I have dentists that I like in California, and I'm in New York right now, and I want to wait until I get to California. So I mean, there's a little bit of like that reasoning going on, but also it's my nature of not taking care of myself. I can withstand this for a moment. I'd rather send a little bit of extra money to my kids this month than take care of my teeth. Well, that's not the way. I don't know if I'm going to listen to this advice, but I have been oil pulling and doing some things to take care of my teeth. So I'm working on it in other ways. But if you're out there and you need some inspiration, the resurrection of Jake the Snake, man, it is worth your time. If you're out there and you don't need some inspiration, but you love a great story, you love an inspiring story, especially one that's true. I was so moved by the whole thing, I started to think that I wanted to reach out to Jake the Snake, especially after I talked to my father and I was telling him sort of what had happened. I'd watched this documentary, I'd seen it before, our friend Diamond Dallas Page. And my dad said that he had spoken to Jake the Snake before at different conventions, and he was a really nice guy or whatever else. And that made me think that it might mean something to Jake to hear from me. Because especially Jake having this feeling like he wasn't important, he wasn't a big deal, all these insecurities that he had that I, shared with him for a long time. I thought that Dee Snider's son, who was in chronic pain all the time and, had turned to marijuana for help with this, and watched this documentary as he's in his own journey, overcoming his pain, taking care of his body, that it would mean something to him. It just made me a little bit more than just a random face in the crowd showing up to say, thank you for your inspiration. So I wrote Diamond a message. I'll share the whole thing. I said, hey brother, because I had Diamond's message. I told you I'd talk to him years later. I said, hey brother, God made me watch the resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts again, and I had forgotten that I had already seen it, and I didn't even remember that I had already seen it until way more than halfway through it, and I went, why did my intuition want me to watch this so badly? And very quickly it began to dawn on me. I've been back in the gym doing Mike Metzer's workout program, which if you want to find out about Mike Metzer's workout program, which I really love and I believe in for intellectuals who want to get into the gym, his book really inspired me. And it was only a couple years ago that I had read it and that I was inspired by it. And I did a whole episode on it called, it was like Geek Bodybuilding for Geeks, something like that. If you go back into the episodes, and this speaks to you on any level, go check it out. I talk all about his routine and how I came across it and some of the reasons why I was so inspired by it and thought it was so great. Generally speaking, I hate fucking reading about bodybuilding, but he was an intellectual, and he was a Mr. Olympian, and fucking A, or Mr. Universe, whatever it is. But he's awesome. I highly recommend that episode of the show. So I was on his workout program for a year, taking control of my health. I've been getting big and starting to realize that I had grown beyond marijuana, but I was so used to using it to get the most out of myself, to overcome my task paralysis, my pain and anxiety, that I didn't exactly know how to stop without putting myself through a bout of negativity that I just wasn't interested in experiencing. But every time I would smoke, I think, I fucking hate this and I really want to stop, but when? If you still talk to Jake, please let him know that watching him go through withdrawal and overcome his addiction, which is so much worse than mine has ever been. He inspired me to stop cold turkey, and I did a week ago, and I'm starting to feel better, and I'm feeling so grateful to him and to you for making that movie. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You helped me on my journey this past week, and you didn't have to show up, be there, expect any energy at all. You made something that is going to perpetually help people for eternity. Every time I set out to write a song or story or do anything, I set out with the intention, something that will help people for as long as it exists. Congratulations, my friend. You've done it. You've done the thing that every artist hopes and prays to do, and you got to help a hell of a lot of your friends along the way. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you for that phone call all those years ago. Thank you for your encouragement, but thank you for following your inspiration and executing what was in your heart. I'm sure you're going to get 1 million more messages just like this over the course of the rest of your life. And I sent him a kissy smile, as I would love to kiss his head. Really, I so appreciate that, man. Well, within a couple hours, he wrote me back. He said, Jesse, thank you so much for taking the time to write such a heartfelt message. I sent it to Jake. He typed back one word, wow. It's great to hear that Jake's story resonates with so many people. The most amazing part of Jake's story isn't even in the documentary. About 8 years ago, he got back together with his wife, Cheryl. Together, in their mid to late 60s, they are living their best lives together. It truly proves anything and everything is possible if you just believe. You might want to share this with your old man. I'm sure it would make his day, week, month, year, life. Stay in touch, my friend. Diamond. Oh, that message meant so much to me. They gave me such a gift in the documentary to be able to say thank you and get that message back. It just means the fucking world to me. And I know that one day I'm going to run into Jake at one of these conventions or something myself, because he's going to be here a long time. In the documentary, you get to see him reconnect with his children, and it's wonderful. It's beautiful. He earns a new respect from them that he did not have before. And it's just beautiful to see. Overwhelming to the emotions. The whole documentary is really powerful. And when I'm done recording this and I have a link, I'm going to send it to Jake. Or I'm going to send it to Diamond and tell him to send it to Jake. And Jake, when you hear this, I love you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much for putting it out on the line there for me to find when I needed it, and you helped me. And I'm sure that when you did that, you did it because you hoped that maybe it would help others. And it did. It has. It continues to. And it's going to help all of my listeners who decide to watch it. Even those who aren't dealing with addiction, who aren't dealing with body pain and lack of mobility like you and I have been dealing with. But it's going to help them just the same to see a man be a fucking man, step up to the plate, and do what needs to be done so that he can be there for his children. My children are what started me on the path to fixing myself, because I want to be here a long time, happy and healthy, so that I can play with my children every chance I get. And because of people like you and Diamond Dallas Page I will be. I love you, Jake the Snake. Thank you for laying it on the line. I love you, Diamond Dallas Page. Thank you for laying it on the fucking line. The world needs more people like you. My listeners, I love you. Thank you for listening to my show. I hope you listen every Wednesday when we do our longer form show, even though this is a longer Saturday episode than I usually offer. Hopefully it spoke to you guys. It was from my heart. I didn't exactly plan on getting into this all in the way that I did, but it felt right for me as I began to open my mouth and talk about this incredible documentary. Every Monday, my show, Everything They Don't Want You to Know, is available on esoteric wisdom and all of the fucking conspiracies that are clear as day. You can check that out every Monday. There's like 30 episodes of it now. Lots of shows to dig into. And my music show, All Your Favorite Bands Suck, will be returning shortly. It's available everywhere but Spotify still. And there are 55 bands that you can get into right now if you're looking to get into some new music. Finally, my new magazine, Sugar and Bones Magazine, which I'm making with a lot of my great friends like Digger and Aaron Sparrow. We are just starting to promote it. We're just getting things going. If you want to sign up for notifications for that, it'll be on Kickstarter in a few months, but you can go to bldsts.com. It's an anthology magazine, kind of like heavy metal, but with more traditional magazine elements. You know, it's really built for the next generation of creative people. I want you guys to get the guidance that you need to be great at everything you do, and that's what this magazine's supposed to be. The greatest artists and creative people that I know doing their best work, showing you how it's done. So if that sounds cool to you, you can either go onto Kickstarter and type in Sugar and Bones Magazine. You can find it that way, and you can sign up for notifications. Or you can go to my publishing company, Blacklight District Studios website, which is bldsts.com. Anyway, you guys are the best. Thanks for listening to the whole episode of this show. I love you more than you fucking understand. My listeners have changed my life. I am a professional podcaster now because of you guys, and it's been that way for a long time, and my life has been getting better and better and better since all of my listeners came into my life. If you ever want to write to me and connect to me, you can reach me at jesseblaze@jessesnyder.com or find me on most of the social media shit. Anyway, guys, I love you. Care Bear stare. Let me go. I'm off to see my children and have a wonderful weekend of running and jumping and having a great time because I chose to take care of myself. You should do that too. Peace out, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snyder. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part! Isn't that heavy? I played that. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Coolest alive. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Stay with your tribe. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Revenge of the Geeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Week after weeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Laughing with you. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And crying sometimes too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Spelling it out. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Making you shout. I'm a genius. I got lyrics coming out my bum for days. You like that? It's a kazoo solo. I played that too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living your shit. My voice is fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Call right or text. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Raising the bar. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Straight to the stars. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's the fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
The podcast playground.